This meeting is being held in compliance with the Brown Act. SCAG offices are open for members of the public to attend and participate in person. Instructions for providing public comment have been provided in advance and are also included in the agenda packet. If a member of this body is attending remotely but is not at a location specified on the agenda, they may observe and comment as a member of the public, but may not participate in any member discussion or voting of this body. For all members participating remotely, please ensure your microphone is muted when not in use. Please state your name during deliberations and whether making a motion or offering a second. Any voting member or member of the public calling into this meeting by telephone can press *6 to mute and unmute. All telephone participants should identify themselves prior to speaking. SCAG encourages all members of the public to participate in its meetings. We are committed to holding meetings accessible to people with disabilities. For members of the public requiring ADA accommodation, please call 213-630-1410. SCAG offers free interpretation services for members of the public needing information in another language. Please call 213-236-1895. The meeting will now begin.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today is November 6, 2025, and the meeting of the Community Economic and Human Development Committee is now called to order. As a reminder, if any member of this body is attending remotely but is not at a location specified on the agenda, they may observe and comment as a member of the public, but may not participate in any member discussions or votes of this body. Now, before we begin, I want to take a moment to welcome. We have the USC graduate students from the Price School, along with their professor who is virtually watching and supporting them from USC. So welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. And I know you're most excited about the great elections one way or the other, but the one thing we can all agree upon is the World Series two-time champion Dodgers. And in honor of them, I'm going to ask the Honorable John Mearsh with a Dodger kippa on to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Say you want me to do it 3 times.
Yes, next year.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I was waiting. Thank you very much. I will now open the general public comment period of the meeting. This is the time for members of the public to offer comment for matters that are within SCAG's jurisdiction but are not listed on the agenda. Staff, have we received any written public comments after the deadline of 5 p.m. on Wednesday, November 5th?
Mr. Chair, we did not receive any written public comment after the deadline.
Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, I will now close the public comment period for matters not listed on the agenda. We're going to move now to review and prioritize any agenda items. I don't believe we will have that, but we'll go through the process. On the consent calendar, do we have any members of the public who wish to speak on these items or this item?
Mr. Chair, I do not see any members wishing to participate online or in public.
Okay, we have a pretty full agenda today, so in order to save time, if anyone wants to pull anything from the consent calendar, I will ask we have staff present first before moving to the roll call vote for the consent calendar. Okay. There's no presentation, right? Okay, so in order to save more time. To approve the consent calendar, I'll ask for a motion now.
So moved, Finley.
A move, Finley, a second.
Ike.
Your guess is as good as mine. Okay. Second, Hub. And we will ask, this is to approve the consent calendar, agenda item 1, and receive and file items 2, 3, and 4. Now, may I ask you to please do a roll call vote if you can? I know you're having computer fun. You want me to help, or we can help? Can't we?
One moment, please.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a member of go ahead.
Just on item 5.
We're not there yet.
No, I know. I think I need to disclose.
I think we should wait till we call the item. We're on 1 through 4 now. I'll call you first.
Advice of council, but I'll
Okay. If we need to, yeah. Well, Madam Clerk, why don't we wait and take the vote after we've completed the presentation? Is that good?
Yes.
We good? Okay.
Thank you.
Now we'll move to item 5, and I believe we have the Honorable Jeff. Go ahead, please. Jeff Wood.
thank you. I left my phone in the car, but in consultation with council. Sorry. I'm a member of the Gateway Housing Affordable Trust. That item is referenced. We do not believe there's a conflict, but I just wanted to disclose that, and if need be, I will abstain from that item.
Okay, is that on rec? What is our counsel indicating to us? He's in consultation. Do you have,
Yeah, and
do you have a comment on that for us, please?
So that's correct. Generally, under Government Code 1090, public agency official can vote on something where they're also an official, but we're supposed to put it on the record. So I believe Member Mears would like to do that as well.
So I'd also like to state that I am on the La Casa board and they're referenced, and so it should be noted. But I'm allowed to vote.
Correct. You're both allowed to vote, participate. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. And the Honorable Megan Kirk.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to note that I'm also on the Gateway Housing Trust as well, for the record.
Okay, and anyone else? I attend the meetings, so does that count? Okay. All right. We can go ahead, council, correct? Just to clarify.
Correct. We can move forward.
Very good. All right, we'll move on to item number 5, which is the REAP 2.0 programs, accelerating transformative housing path program. Notice of funds available for lasting affordability, round 2. And we will move forward on March 2nd, 2023. Before many of us were here, some of us were here. The Regional Council approved the programs to accelerate transformative housing program, which is known as PATH, one of the main programs in SCAG's REAP 2.0 framework. The PATH program includes 3 funding areas, including notice of funding available for last affordability. Due to recent REAP 2.0 project cost savings, along with some awardees not electing to move forward, $20 million of the funds in REAP 2.0 funds has become available for an additional notice of funds available for lasting affordability. Our next item is a recommendation for the CEHD Committee is to recommend to the Regional Council to 1, approve the REAP 2.0 partnership to accelerate transformative housing, notice of available funds available for lasting affordability, round 2 guidelines and application making $20 million available. Authorize the SCAG executive director or his designee to issue additional funding awards using the contingency list that will be developed following the initial funding of awards and depending upon availability of additional funding in the REAP 2.0 program. And number 3, authorize staff to release the call for applications. And number 4, authorize the SCAG executive director or his designee to revise the guidelines and applications as needed and enter into agreements with awardees and awarded entities and execute any documents indicated incident to the agreement. Just so you know, it's a lot of language, but basically these funds, which SCAG worked so hard to keep, to get back when Sacramento was busy cutting funds, a majority of them have been used and allocated, and thank goodness for the great work in our region. These are additional funds, part of that group that were not used for the reasons indicated. So we want to make sure they are used in our regions by our SCAG representatives. So now I will call on Jacob Noonan, SCAG's Housing Special Programs Manager, to present this item for consideration. Jacob.
Thank you, Chair Shapiro. Good morning, CEHD committee members. My name is Jacob Noonan. I'm a planning supervisor in SCAG's housing department, and I'm managing the special programs unit. This agenda item 5, starts on page 41 of your packet. And as the chair noted, the recommendations are provided on the slide. I will not go through them now, but we do have it. We do have this slide at the end, and so I will just revisit this slide after the presentation. Also to acknowledge that we've provided the recommendation for the regional council as well, which repeats the recommendation from this that we are proposing to the CEHD committee. So thank you, Chair, for setting me up on background for REAP 2.0. This program is funded through that effort. As a reminder, REAP 2.0 is intended to achieve transformative planning and implementation activities, and this is for helping to realize the regional sustainable communities strategy, or SCS, and achieving Connect SoCal. The REAP 2.0 funding does have 3 program objectives, and these are important for us to be mindful of. That one of those is to accelerate infill development that facilitates housing supply, choice, and affordability, affirmatively furthering fair housing and reducing vehicle miles traveled. Now, another important aspect of the program is the performance period, which ends June 30th, 2026, unless under very specific circumstances, there could be an extension to December 31st of 2026. And so there's a very short time period to expend these remaining funds. When we look at the REAP 2.0 program objectives, it's also important, these are repeated again on the left-hand side of the slide here, to recognize that we are also achieving SCAG's objectives, which are to support transformative planning that realizes the Connect SoCal plan, again, that we're building regional capacity to deliver 6-cycle RHNA goals, that we're representing best practices in vehicle miles traveled reductions, and that we're promoting infill in the Connect SoCal priority growth areas. And so in the design, when we developed this, now this was, I believe this was adopted by the program areas for REAP 2.0 was adopted by the Regional Council on July 7th of 2022. These included 3 major areas. We had the early action, we have the early program initiatives, the Connect SoCal implementation strategy, which is a Connect SoCal implementation strategy, the transportation partnership programs, and then the programs to accelerate transformative housing, or PATH, which further has these 3 sub funding areas in it, one of which is this NOFA, or funding for lasting affordability. And I won't go through the other ones because this is really the program that we're looking at focusing on is this NOFA. So in reflection, again, the PATH program, it deployed $88,835,000 to the region, across the region, for several programs. Of that, $45,000 was originally made available in the NOFA 1. That was released on June 7th of 2023. And this was focused on funding innovative housing finance strategies, supporting trust funds and catalyst funds. Importantly, that at the time, and because we had enough time to develop programs, we were able to both provide expansion and establishment of new trusts as part of the funding structure in NOFA. So those eligible applicants, they included applicants that were both managing existing and would be managing future trusts, that would be either managing currently funding strategies, or would be in the future managing funding strategies. By the time the call closed, we'd received 28 applications. Of those, 22 were determined to be complete. It represented around 127 million, which was about 3 times more than the call. We reviewed those, evaluated, and on October 13th of 2023, the Regional Council awarded all 45 million to projects, and currently we have 13 projects that are underway. These include both regional housing trusts and the development and expansion of those, and also some innovative financing strategies. So NOFA 2 will include, this is a request to release 20 million. As the chair mentioned, this is funds from REAP 2.0. The design of this program is to support existing trust catalyst funds that are focused on affordability. And that this means that we will not be able to also support the creation of new programs simply because the time limit to expend the funds isn't allow for that type of activity. So we're looking to fund existing programs that have existing trust funds with existing lending programs that are ready and available to receive the REAP 2.0 funds and place those into a financing tool such as a lending program or a grant program or other types of debt or equity investment programs that acquire land or provide pre-development, permanent bridge gap financing, other financing for housing, home ownership. And then we're also looking to build a contingency list that would provide the opportunity to deploy additional funding if that becomes available in the future. So how we would do this, had the approach to evaluating in REAP 2, in NOFA 2, we would be developing 2 tiers. The first tier would be from applicants that have not received prior funding from the NOFA program. Those would be evaluated and considered for awards first. Programs that have received funding from the NOFA program would be able to apply. They would be placed into a tier 2. And any remaining applications that from tier 1 that were complete, evaluated, ranked, would be ranked then with those tier 2 applications on that contingency list and available for consideration if additional funds come available. So to shift gears a little bit and to recognize the application criteria and how we would evaluate, as a refresher for the committee, we would be using the same 5 criteria that were used in the first NOFA. These were criteria that were reviewed by HCD and approved. They include leading to transformative, significant, beneficial impacts. And what this means is that the programs are addressing those 3 program objectives of accelerating infill development that facilitates housing supply, choice, and affordability, affirmatively furthering fair housing, and reducing vehicle miles traveled. That's 45% of the score. We're also going to be evaluating programs on their equitable targeted outreach. That's 10%. Leveraging partnerships, policy match, and building local capacity. That's 25%. And then supporting disadvantaged communities is another 10%. And then importantly, to address regional distribution of funds and to ensure that we're able to deploy funds from across the region, we'd be also evaluating based on the program's ability to contribute to regional transformative change for 10%, for a total of 100%. So looking at the timeline, with approval from the Regional Council today, we would go ahead and issue the call on, we'd release the call on the 17th. We would keep the call open until actually, we're going to keep the call open until January 20th rather than January 19th because we realize January 19th is Martin Luther King Day. So we'll extend that to, it'll be January 20th at midnight. We will provide information sessions in early December. We're looking at that first week in December and doing 2 sessions. And then we would, the evaluation period will follow the close of the call. That'll occur from the end of January through February with an ideal date to present the funding awards to the Regional Council in March, the March meeting. We would be looking, because this is going to be a very timely deployment of these funds, we'll be looking to have the applicants execute the MOU, meet all the requirements, and receive their funding by July 31st of this year, of 2026, of next year. And then the applicants would then report on all activities through the end of the year, through December 31st of 2026. So to release the call and to make sure that we get this word out, we are going to be focusing on email lists, blasts, communications through our partners, and other methods and forms where we can broadcast widely across the region, ensuring that we have a very inclusive outreach approach so that folks know that these funds are available. We will be setting up office hours 2 times a week where staff will be available to answer questions and support prospective applicants through the process. That information will be on our website. And then we will have these 2 information sessions in early December, one of which will be recorded. We'll provide that online along with answers to questions during the call period as those periodically. So again, the recommendations for the committee is to recommend that the regional council approve this notice of lasting affordability round 2, the guidelines and the application, and to make that 20 million available, to authorize the SCAG executive director to issue additional funding awards using the contingency list that would be developed following the initial award of the funds and depending on availability of additional funding in the REAP 2.0 program, to authorize staff to release the call, and to authorize the executive director or his designee to revise the guidelines and application as needed and enter into the agreements to award the entities and execute all documents and submit to the agreements. This again repeats the regional council direction, and I thank you. For more information, prospective applicants can visit our website at scag.ca.gov/REAP 2021. This is the end of my presentation. Back to you, Chair Shapiro. I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much for that report. And we'll move on to any members of the public who might wish to speak on this item. I'm sure the members of the Price Institute probably have a lot of questions, but don't all raise your hands at once. Okay. Seeing none, I will now entertain comments from members of the CHD, and I saw the corner of my eye, the Honorable John Mearsh.
Thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to say that I'm very pleased with a couple of things. One, that you talked about housing choice. It's really important when we are trying to work to create affordable housing or any kind of housing to try and create the housing that people actually want and that they prefer. Housing, when we talk about it, it's not just one amorphous sort of thing. People actually have preferences as to how they live, and it's great that we look at those preferences and try and plan for that. The second thing is I'm very pleased that we talk about here ownership as well. That's something that when in discussions about housing that haven't traditionally been talked about. I know on La Casa, originally we talked about the 3 Ps, preservation, production, and then tenant protections. But we're now talking about PPO. And when we're doing that, that's not medical insurance we're talking about production, preservation, and ownership. And so really, it's great that all of these policies we're looking at aim to increase the base of home ownership, especially among groups that in the past have maybe been disadvantaged in becoming homeowners and having the ability to establish intergenerational wealth. And I just want to say that I'm glad we are also focusing on expanding home ownership, and that is a very worthy goal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments from members of the CHD committee in person? We'll get to online in a minute. Too good a report, Jacob. That's great. We'll call on the Honorable Jed Leno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question for staff. In the first NOFA, to what level was the program oversubscribed? How many unsuccessful applicants from the first round are now expected to come back? Because it appears as though we're making the first tier priority for those who were not awarded in previous rounds. So I just want to know how many jurisdictions or proposals are we talking about didn't receive funding previously, and if all of those are awarded, does that mean that prior recipients are unlikely to have any accessible funding opportunities?
Thank you for that question. I think at this point, it's a little too early for us to know what the receptivity and the interest level for these funds would be, but we do know from the first NOFA that we did receive 28 applications. Of those, 3 were ineligible, 3 were duplicate applications, and so we evaluated 22, and those represented about 3 times the amount of requests. Now, a subtle difference in the NOFA 1 was that we didn't provide a cap on the amount of the requests, and so we did see some very large requests. In NOFA 2, learning from that lesson, we've capped the requests at 5 million. And so I think that it would be fair to say that we should expect that we'll have adequate applications to review for this 20 million. The reason being that we wanted to provide an opportunity to programs that had not otherwise received funds through this, the original NOFA call, was to make sure that we were able to distribute funds and deploy funds out across the region and to provide those opportunities for other funding programs and organizations. But then still also recognize that we have very good programs that are funded. And so if we do have remaining funds, or if we have any other funds that come available from REAP 2, that we would have an opportunity to immediately deploy those funds out with an existing grantee, with an existing MOU, where we could do an additional award into a program with a limited amount of review on our side to do that.
Thank you very much. And we have the Honorable Margaret Finley.
Thank you. Can people get a partial award? Because you said that there were applicants that certainly had a larger amount than they probably should get. Can they apply? Can you break it up so that maybe they could get partial?
Yes, the guidelines do allow for partial awards. Okay. And so once we receive applications, review those for completeness, and then evaluate those applications, I think we would have a better sense of what type of a proposal that we would present to the regional council for that consideration. And it could include partial awards or a funding award up to the maximum, again, of $5 million.
All right. Seeing no other questions, thank you very much. At this point, I will entertain a motion on this item.
So moved, Finley.
Second, Ike.
It's been moved by Finley, second by Ike. Madam Clerk, can we take a vote on roll call vote, please?
Yes, thank you. This is for item number 5.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
item number 5.
All right, one moment. Cindy Allen.
Aye.
Joe Baca. Debbie Baker.
Aye.
Drew Boyles. Tanya Doby.
Aye.
Deborah Dorsey Parada. Keith Ike.
Yes.
Shauna Elias.
Yes.
Margaret Finley.
Yes.
Claudia Fermetta. Martin Fuentes.
Yes.
Victoria Garcia.
Aye.
Gardner.
Aye.
Mike Goodsell.
Yes.
John Grass.
Aye.
Mark Henderson.
Yes.
Peggy Wong.
Yes.
Cecilia Hupp.
Yes.
William Hussey.
Yes.
Linda Johnson. Megan Kerr.
Yes.
Matt Levere. Jed Liano.
Yes.
Matt Levere. Annie Marshall.
Yes.
Betty Martinez Franco.
Yes.
Thank you. Andrew Messiah.
Yes.
John Mirish.
Yes.
Geneva Mojado.
Yes.
Morbito. Joseph Morbito. Sharona Nazarian.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes for Joseph.
Thank you. Rocky Rhodes.
Yes.
Yes for Sharona Nazarian as well, please.
Thank you. Sheila
Thank-
Rossi.
Yes.
David Shapiro.
Yes.
Becky Shevlin.
Hi, I don't know if I can vote. I'm appearing under just cause, and there has to be an in-person quorum established.
Yes, ma'am. You're allowed to vote. We have a quorum here at
Okay,
the
great. Yes.
Mary Solorio.
Yes.
Helen Tran, Valerie Vanderpool,
Vanderveer, yes.
Mark Warwick,
Aye.
Equinetta Warren,
Aye.
Jeff Wood,
Yes.
Judy Woolsey,
Yes.
Tony Wu,
Yes.
Frank Yokoyama,
Yes.
and Jesse Zwick. Chair action item 5 passes with yes, 37 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstentions.
Debbie Parada's here and she's a yes from Ontario.
Thank you. That's 38.
Bob Engler from Thousand Oaks is a yes.
All right, thank you very, very much. I'm sorry? I don't see him. All right. Just like the Dodgers, that was so much fun. We're going to do it again, run it right back. So we're going to now have a vote. Motion for items 1 through 4 was made by Finley yet again, see 2 times, and seconded by Hupp. So we are going to go forward, Madam Clerk, with the roll call vote for 1 through 4. And the reason we didn't do that earlier, we've had some, for those online and who don't know, had some technical difficulties. Thank you.
Cindy Allen,
Aye.
thank you. Joe Baca,
Aye.
Debbie Baker,
Aye.
Drew Boyles, Tanya Doby,
Yes.
Deborah Dorst Parada,
Yes.
Keith Ike,
Yes.
Sean Elias,
Yes.
Bob Engler,
Yes.
Raymond Furman,
Aye.
Margaret Finley,
Yes.
Claudia Fermetta, Martin Fuentes,
Yes.
Victoria Garcia,
Aye.
Gary Gardner,
Aye.
Mike Goodsell,
Yes.
John Grass,
Aye.
Mark Henderson, Peggy Wong,
Yes.
Cecilia Huff,
Yes.
William Hussey,
Yes.
Linda Johnson, Megan Kerr,
Aye.
Matt Levere, Jay Liano,
Aye.
Annie Marshall,
Yes.
Eddie Martinez Franco,
Yes.
Andrew Maciel,
Yes.
John Mirish,
Yes.
Geneva Mojado,
Yes.
Joseph Morbito,
Yes.
thank you. Sharana Nazarian,
Yes.
Rocky Rose,
Yes.
Sheila Rossi,
Yes.
David Shapiro,
Yes.
Mary Solorio,
Yes.
Becky Shevlin,
Yes.
Helen Tran, Valerie Vanderveer,
Yes.
Mark Walrenick,
Aye.
Equinetta Warren,
Aye.
Jeff Wood,
Yes.
Judy Woolsey,
Yes.
Tony Wu,
Yes.
Frank Yokoyama,
Yes.
and Jesse Zwick. Thank you. Chair, the consent calendar passes with 39 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 0 abstentions.
Thank you very much. And that's items 1 through 4, just for clarity. That's all right. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to item number 6, downtown revitalization strategies. As cities works to strengthen local economies and create vibrant communities, local governments across the SCAG region have embraced downtown revitalization strategies as a method to attract local investment, enhance public spaces, and foster a strong sense of community and local identity for residents and visitors alike. Today's CEHD members will hear from Kathy Lynn, Director of Research at the International Downtown Association, about the importance of downtowns for local economies and best practices for downtown revitalization. She'll be followed by Jocelyn Swain, Senior Regional Planner of the City of Lancaster, about their city's downtown planning process and revitalization. So we're going to hear both presentations and then ask for comments and questions after. So please let them finish first. I will now call first on Kathy Lynn, who is joining us virtually to begin her presentation. Welcome.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me today. I am delighted to be here, and I'm going to just share my screen. Okay, everyone sees the presentation? All right.
Yes.
Great. So again, my name is Kathy Lin. I'm the Director of Research at IDA, and I'll be sharing our research on the value of downtowns. And really, it's about why downtowns have always been and will always be the heart of the city, and how a healthy, thriving downtown is absolutely critical to a thriving city and region. So just a little bit about IDA. We are the professional association for urban place management organizations. Our membership includes business improvement districts, downtown alliances, downtown development authorities, and more. And it's really about all of those who are focused on making their downtown or urban commercial district a vibrant place. We are based out of Washington, D.C., but have members from all across the US and Canada. So great cities start downtown. When you visit a new place, you want to go downtown to get a feel for the city. What are the things to do? Where do people go? What makes the city special? Downtowns are so important for civic identity, community gathering, and really being that economic engine that is able to create opportunities for all. But making that case is not always so straightforward. So at IDA, we embarked on a study called The Value of US Downtowns and Center Cities to articulate through a data-driven narrative why downtowns are so important and to really quantify how much downtowns contribute to their respective cities and regions. So we began this study in 2017, and each year we add new communities to our database, now with the 56 downtowns from all across the country, as you see on this map. So the numbers I'll be citing in my presentation are representing the averages from these downtowns in our study. Our approach, which we specifically designed to be relevant for communities of all sizes, whether small or large downtowns, really distills to 5 principles: economy, inclusion, vibrancy, identity, and resilience. Today, I'll just be focusing on the first 3, which really roughly corresponds to work, live, and play. For economy, downtowns concentrate jobs, businesses, real estate values. The average downtown is about 2% of a city's land area, but it contributes so much more to the city's revenues, as you can see in the table on the right. Downtowns have assessed values per square mile of over 3 billion, compared to an average of just 200 million per square mile across the rest of the city. And again, downtowns are really that economic engine that generates wealth that is distributed all across the city and region. Now, post-pandemic, we are living in a different world, and our studies find that in-person office visits, people really coming in office, is still down 23% now as compared to 2019. But we see this as an opportunity. It really leaves room to reimagine what a downtown can be. Last year, a Cushman-Wakefield study on reimagining cities called for a fundamental shift in the real estate makeup of downtowns. So at the top, shifting from that 70% work real estate, coming all the way down to 42% in what they call their optimal product portfolio. That leaves much more room to increase the square footage dedicated to residential spaces, downtowns, and also to play, or what are those things that really attract visitors, such as live entertainment, food and beverage, hospitality, arts and culture, and more. For inclusion, we want our downtowns to be welcoming environments for all who work, play, and especially those who live there, and to be welcoming to people from all walks of life. Population downtown has already been shifting and growing and outpacing the city population growth, increasing by 23% since 2010, 3 times faster than the average city growth. This had a slight, speed bump during the pandemic, but has continued booming since then. Of course, who is able to live downtown is greatly impacted by the cost of living, and downtowns are particularly prone to spikes in rent, as over 80% of downtown households do rent their home. Now, it's not groundbreaking to tell a group of people from Southern California that we need more housing, and as we heard about with the previous agenda item as well. But in the downtown context, we need more housing not only to meet historic past shortfalls, but also because future demographic shifts towards smaller households, more couples without children, are those households that really are going to be valuing dense, walkable environments. And more housing downtown can also support local businesses and make up fewer in-office for fewer in-office workers, as each resident can support 4 times more retail than an average worker. Third, on the principle of vibrancy. Downtowns are really, as I mentioned at the beginning, where you go to see what the city is like. They may be just 2% of the land area, but concentrate 5 times more hospitality business activity per square mile than the city. And visitors account for, on average, 60% of the people who are in a downtown on any given day. And this group is really only gaining in importance in being able to cater towards their interests and needs. Post-pandemic, the number of visitors has already reached 2019 numbers, and in some downtowns has already far exceeded what that was pre-pandemic. So what people want to feel downtown is really about all of that excitement, that energy, that activity, to even be surprised by alley activations that they might just happen to run into. But how do you make this happen cohesively and consistently in coordination with everything else that goes on in the city? For us at IDA, the answer is strong urban place management, which can take place at dedicated nonprofits such as business improvement districts like the Downtown LA Alliance, Downtown Oxnard Improvement Association, or within city departments like at the City of Lancaster, which we'll hear about shortly. But place management, as we define it, is really what just happens when you have a group of people that wake up every day thinking only about their neighborhood, and they know every street corner, every business owner, the location of every trash can in their district. This pyramid, which we developed, is modeled after Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it illustrates all the different functions that a place management organization can take on for a healthy, thriving downtown or urban district. Starting at the bottom with clean and safe, we want to make sure that it's an environment that people are comfortable being in, living in, coming to. And then moving up from there, all of those different elements of what attracts people to a downtown or urban district, from festivals and events, decorations, beautification, as well as supporting those local businesses and active development and advocacy at the top. Now, all of this layers on top of what the city is already doing, but it represents dedicated funding as well as a dedicated focus on a singular downtown or urban district. Today in 2025, this pyramid has expanded even further, and urban place management organizations are taking on even more responsibilities in connecting to or providing social services, in curating activations in public spaces, in playing a much bigger role in economic development and actively recruiting retailers, commercial businesses to support downtown, and being the source of information for all things downtown or for their district. So place management is really critical, as we see it, to being that connector across public, private, and nonprofit sectors, and ensuring that all have a voice and are a part of that healthy, thriving downtown. So you can learn more about our study at downtown.org, and we are looking for our next cohort of value of downtown's participants if anyone is interested in the audience. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to answering questions after passing it over to you now, Jocelyn. Thank you.
Jocelyn, if you can hear, please join. We're looking forward to your presentation.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me to speak with you today. My name is Jocelyn Swain, and I'm a senior planner here at the City of Lancaster. As some of you may know, the City of Lancaster is the northernmost city in Los Angeles County and currently encompasses approximately 94 square miles. The city was originally settled in the late 1800s and incorporated in 1977. Lancaster Boulevard was the center of the city during the early portion of the 20th century. These pictures depict Lancaster Boulevard from the 1920s to the 1940s, with the street being utilized for a mix of vehicular and pedestrian activities, and retail establishments lined both sides of the street. Through the 1960s, uses on this portion of Lancaster Boulevard included the post office, county offices, library, the Western Hotel, which is now a museum, Woolworth's, a furniture store, and grocery store, among others. By the 1990s and early 2000s, Lancaster Boulevard had become a 4-lane roadway with 2 travel lanes in each direction. While there were still commercial uses downtown, most of these uses closed by the end of the business day, and many were not open on weekends. Other businesses had relocated to larger commercial centers within other parts of the city. Lancaster Boulevard in the downtown had become a way to get from one location to another and not a destination. This photograph shows an overhead view of downtown Lancaster with Lancaster Boulevard running through the center from 10th Street West to Sierra Highway, approximately half a mile in length. During the 1990s and early 2000s, the city began working to bring new life to the area through the investment in several public use projects, including a new sheriff's station, the Performing Arts Center, a new library, and plans for new residential uses, parks, and other improvements to the north of the boulevard. However, this did not result in additional private investment. In 2004, several planning commissioners and senior planning staff were at a League of California Cities conference and attended a presentation called Walkable America. This led to brainstorming sessions, and staff started work on a specific plan and environmental impact report to revitalize the city's downtown area in 2006. The downtown specific plan was adopted in 2008, and construction on Lancaster Boulevard started in 2010. A key component of developing the specific plan was public engagement and input from various sectors of the community. Public engagement occurred between May and July of 2006 and included meetings with property owners, businesses, elected officials, other civic leaders, and members of the public. These activities culminated in a 3-day community workshop with day and nighttime tours, design charrettes, visioning workshops. These events were well attended and even included events for children to provide their input. As a result of the public engagement, several key themes emerged as shown on this slide. These included a desire for a sense of community, identification of the community's history and heritage, arts, culture, and public institutions, and the availability of services, shopping, and restaurants. Utilizing the themes identified by the public outreach, the adopted plan envisioned 7 districts within the downtown. Each of these districts has a different focus, and the uses permitted within the different districts vary. Some highlights to note: the civic district shown in orange includes City Hall, the Sheriff's Department, the library, fire department, and post office. The Boulevard district in the dark blue is the core or central portion of the downtown and includes the Performing Arts Center, Museum of Art and History, and many of the Boulevard's restaurants. In 2010, the reconstruction of Lancaster Boulevard into a 2-lane roadway with parking in the rhombus and along the sides of the streets commenced. Where possible, the widths of the sidewalks were widened to provide additional areas for seating, patios, outdoor dining, and enhanced landscaping. Construction was accomplished in phases, starting at the eastern end of the boulevard, working westwards to minimize disruptions to local businesses. All businesses remained open during construction. The block of the boulevard depicted in the photograph does not provide parking in the rhombus or sides of the street in order to accommodate turn lanes onto Sierra Highway. At the midway point of construction for Phase 1, the completed median and sidewalks have been installed with the tree wells for landscaping. The tall palm trees in the background indicate where the rhombus parking starts. And this is what Phase 1 looked like at the completion, with the start of Phase 2 in the distant background. This photograph shows what Lancaster Boulevard looks like today. This photograph was taken in the middle of the boulevard, about halfway between Sierra Highway and 10th Street West. A couple of items to note which facilitate the use of the street for events. All street lights have electrical plugs which allow for vendors and maintenance crews to plug in equipment as needed. The planters in the foregrounds can be moved around as necessary, and decorative bollards are located at intersections to facilitate closing of streets for events. Let's see. The adoption of the downtown specific plan and the city's transformation of the boulevard resulted in several positive changes for the area. Between the end of 2009, the year before construction started, and 2013, the boulevard attracted 52 new businesses, had $130 million in private investment, created 800 permanent and 1,100 construction jobs, created 800 housing units, and resulted in the construction or rehabilitation of over 145,000 square feet of commercial space. Public amenities were also constructed on and just north of the boulevard, including a 13.5-acre American Heroes Park with a community building and the Museum of Art and History. While more specific economic impact numbers are not currently available, development continues to occur in the downtown area. Within the past 5 years, a 4-story residence inn, Starbucks, cycling gym, a coffee roasting facility and cafe, a new brewery, and several new restaurants have opened on the boulevard. Just off of the boulevard, Sacred Heart Catholic Church is currently constructing a new expanded sanctuary. A 70-unit senior apartment building was finalized last year, and the new Lancaster Police Station has opened. A substantial reduction of approximately 85% in injury-related collisions also occurred when comparing the 2 years before the reconstruction to the 2 years afterwards. The average number of collisions in the 2 years prior was 30, while 2 years after it was 14. The number of traffic incidents on the boulevard has gone up between 2017 and 2024. However, much of this can be attributed to an increase in the number of people and vehicles visiting downtown. The number of traffic incidents have ranged from 23 to 40 per year, with an average of 30. However, most of these incidents have been property damage only. The boulevard also has become a place to hold community events such as summer concert series, farmers markets, Magical Boulevard, the Boulevard Harvest Festival, and summer celebrations complete with drone light displays. The Magical Boulevard event shown here is held every December and includes vendors, food, arts and crafts stations, cookie decorating, Santa's Village, and snow and sledding. This is some of the events, such as the Boulevard Harvest Festival, have become so successful that they have moved from the boulevard to larger park areas within the city. This year's event was actually held at our soccer center. And then this is a picture of one of the early farmers markets after the boulevard was reimagined. Several lessons were learned during the development of the specific plan, reconstruction of the boulevard, and the years following. First, extensive public outreach is key. Providing all sectors of the community the opportunity to participate in the visioning gives staff clear direction and creates buy-in to the plan. This includes having the support of elected officials and appointed commissions. Second, find early champions and supporters of the vision. There were a couple of business owners on the boulevard who were early adopters of the city's vision and championed it to other business owners, clients, and members of their social circles. This helped to establish support during the approval process and when construction was underway and accessing existing businesses was challenging. Third is to try new things and realize that not everything that you try is going to be successful. For example, about 2 years after the boulevard was redone, small kiosks were installed in several parking spaces in the center of the street and on the sidewalks along the boulevard. The intent was to allow small startup businesses to rent these kiosks. Unfortunately, there was not much interest in the kiosks. They became a magnet for vandalism and were eventually removed. This is an aerial photo of Lancaster Boulevard today during one of the Thursday farmers markets. At the bottom right corner of the screen is the Artist Lofts, which is an apartment complex specifically for artists, and the Museum of Art and History. On the left side of the screen is the renovated furniture store, which is now a restaurant and underground bowling alley, shops, a bookstore, a movie theater, and the Lancaster Performing Arts Center. This concludes my presentation, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jocelyn, for that. And I would ask before I move on to questions from members if both Kathy and Jocelyn could share the slide decks so we can have those for members who wish to review them. I know the vice chair was very interested in the slide deck as well. Move on to members of the public if they have any questions or wish to speak on this item.
Mr. Chair, I do not see any members of the public wishing to participate.
Thank you. I will now entertain comments from members of the CHD. And okay, in person, we will start with, I think, out of the corner of my, the Honorable Jeff Wood. Thought I saw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the presentations. The first one, it was like, we don't have a downtown, you know, we're 9 square miles. All 25,000 houses look the same, but we do have a regional mall. And then the second presentation, I really like the fact that you don't have to call something a downtown to make it, you know, a gathering place. And I'm wondering, for a downtown, like, would you see like a regional mall? Our mall just got sold. At one time, it was the largest regional mall in the nation. It's got some enhanced finance components going to be there. And I'm just wondering if that it's across from our civic center, if that would be an ideal location, because we're probably going to have houses on it, to make that something, maybe not called the downtown, but maybe call it something else. I'm just wondering if you've seen those where you've taken like a mall in the center and made it something similar to what maybe Lancaster's done or other cities.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have found the term downtown can sometimes be limiting, but really we're just talking about a central community gathering place. So I actually personally live outside of Houston right now in a suburb called Sugar Land, and our town center here is structured around the mall that's here, and they've built out a lot of housing, community gathering events. That's where all the festivals for all the holidays are. And that's absolutely the destination here where families go to and gather. And it's such a great asset. It makes this city such a family-friendly destination, which is why we moved here. So there's definitely been a trend all across the country for thinking about how do you revitalize those shopping malls that in the past were overbuilt, and shopping trends have changed significantly. So it's absolutely a huge opportunity to create that kind of community, even if the rest of the city is more of a traditional single-family home suburb. That's an area where people are already used to going to for gathering, and then to be able to turn it into more than just a shopping mall is fantastic, and really something that on the development side, we're also seeing kind of national real estate development companies investing in that kind of lifestyle center.
Yeah, and just to tag on to that, we called this downtown, but what it really is the oldest portion of the city, with the houses with character, where a lot of those places that people have to go anyways to, if they want a building permit, or they, going to a park, or they're going to a church. So that's kind of why we focus this here. But we're also trying to recreate it in other areas of our city. We're working on a specific plan now called Parkway Village. And right now it's in the center of the city. It's completely dirt. But we're developing it with a higher density, with some of those downtown kind of features to it, where you would want to go hang out on the weekend, and with parks, and where you could have additional events and move forward, because I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. They don't want to have to get in their car and drive somewhere. They want to be able to come home on the weekend, go to the park with their kids, walk down the street to the coffee house, without having to go in their car, and for us, drive halfway across town, because at our widest point, we're 22 miles.
Thank you. The Honorable John Mearsh.
Thank you, and I appreciate the report, one thing I just want to note is that I remember there was a study that the South Bay COG did, and Wally Seambaud mentioned that really activating downtowns, it is more a function of density of amenities, of stores, of boutiques, of restaurants, as opposed to density of population. You can have a lot of people in a place. If there's no place to go, no restaurants to go to, no stores, that doesn't really help. And I really think that that is an important calculation that I really didn't see in this report, but I do, as said, maybe it would be good to touch base with the South Bay COG and look at that study, because I think you've got to focus on, if you're going to activate downtowns, is what's there. I also do want to say that, I love the thought that people are going to live, laugh, love, or whatever it is that they're going to do together in all of those places. But I also definitely think it's important to understand that LA is unique. LA is multicentric, as opposed to many other cities that more or less are monocentric. You go to the downtown area in other cities, but aside from that, there's not a whole lot to do. Well, we're blessed in Southern California with having a multi-centric area where there are a lot of things to do all around. And I think maybe any studies that are going to talk about activation of downtown when it comes to Southern California or Los Angeles should really take that into account. But thank you so much for your report. And as said, let's develop more places to live, laugh, and love.
Yeah, and I think every community is different, and that needs to be taken into account. What the needs of the individual community is, how it functions. I mean, obviously Lancaster's a commuter community. And so our needs are definitely going to be different than some of the other communities that are more central to the SCAG region.
Thank you very much. And since we're living, laughing, and loving, now it's time for Honorable John Swink. Jesse Swink, I apologize.
Thank you. On the project in Lancaster, I was just curious what the total capital costs were for the improvements and what sources of funding were utilized to do that reimagining of the boulevard.
I believe it was, I've heard quotes of $10 or $11 million. Keep in mind, this was 2010, not today. And it was, if I'm correct, general fund. It was planned.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. The Honorable Tanya Doby.
Okay, so thank you for the presentation. Apparently Lancaster over in Los Alamitos, we based our TCMU on y'all's. So thank you so very much. But I would just like to share, because Los Alamitos is about 1.8 square miles. So having a downtown is quite laughable, but we do try. And what we call it is the Los Alamitos Town Center. That's effectively what it is. We picked one of our main, very, very in the middle of the streets that everybody has to go by if you're on one of our arterials. And we call it our town center, because I don't have a downtown unless you want to count like and LaSalle, like right there, but I can't put stuff there. So just sharing.
Thank you very much. Was there any comment from anyone? I guess not. We'll move on to the Honorable Sheila Rossi. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much for your presentation. Beautiful job in Lancaster. I think the question I'm looking for really is, Lancaster obviously has a lot of land and much, I think, density. I think looking for assessments around downtowns in cities with smaller geographic regions and constraints that they have, including higher density, less available land to actually be able to create the open spaces, because we're already dealing with like heavy transportation capacity issues and whatnot. And as we're looking at one size fits all sort of zoning mandates that are coming down, you mentioned the piece about areas of character, but when we're told that our downtown, which people love because of the character, is no longer, the character is no longer protected. Trying to figure out how we do that is in creating these kind of vital spaces, and people say, hey, we love to come to your area because we love the character of the downtown area. And you see thousands of, Halloween had 2,000 trick-or-treaters. We're about 5,000 people in our little downtown area because I live in the downtown area, and realizing that that's probably going to go away because the lack of protections that we will be able to have in maintaining that feature of our downtown. So I think looking at future studies is looking at cities that have high density, small spaces. I'd love to get info on that because I'm not sure how we expand certain streets or spaces and open spaces we don't have. Thank you.
Thank you much. All right, move on to the next, the Honorable Aquanetta Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We call our downtown area a district. It's called the Forge District, and we're still revitalizing it. We've cleared a lot of the property out, city-owned, and now we're working on putting about 600 people down in our Forge District, as well as we have a couple of interests with different office space. But we also have tied it to our main drag, which is Sierra Avenue, and we have our Stage Red, which is a concert hall that we partnered with Sammy Hagar. We just had a wonderful program. We're trying to bring all the Fontana artists all together, and we had Jay Buchanan also, who grew up in Fontana. And then we have Spoggy's, which is a top-notch restaurant, but we're looking for those people to be downtown so they can open up for lunch and dinner. But we're also trying to partner with various agencies, county and state, to put in office space. And then that will bring, we're working on restaurants and breweries, and it's just going to be a real nice meeting spot for residents to come. And so that's what we've been working on, but we use the Forge District because maybe down the road we'll have other districts. Because downtown, like you said, is not necessarily in one spot in some cases. You have to work around one of your main things. We have a very top-notch library on that same street, and also our civic center is there with several memorials, and we're doing a lot of public art. So it all comes together. I loved your presentation, by the way.
Thank you very much. Any other members present? Seeing none, I'll move on to the in-person members, the online members. Honorable Gary Gardner.
Thank you, and good morning from the desert. This has been a fascinating presentation, and from a guy who loves downtown areas, I've got a lot of notes here, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing the slide decks when SCAG can send them back around, and I'll share those with our planning department. But from a small city, we have 30,000 people. We have a very small downtown. We do have a downtown, but we've had some problems and with our downtown in that we have absentee landlords who aren't renting spaces or making them available at reasonable rents and just kind of sitting on them. So we've explored a vacant parcel tax. We're exploring that to maybe as a way to kind of incentivize them. But the one thing that I think it was Jocelyn that said that really raised that I have to agree with is don't be afraid to fail. We have reimagined our downtown. I've been on council now 8 years. And we've gone through this about 3 times since I've been on council, and previous councils have done this multiple times too. And we've tried several things and we failed. And now I think we've got our hands on a really good, successful model. We have international artists doing a lot of murals, and we just had our first successful desert nights on the boulevard where we closed off several streets downtown, built a stage. And I will blatantly say we copied it from my good friend Wayman Furman in Indio. They have really done an outstanding job on their downtown. So we keep looking at the other side of the valley with our binoculars saying, is Indio doing, oh, that's what Indio did. We're going to copy this. And it has worked. And so I thank you for that. But it is an ongoing thing. And for us in smaller cities, it's even, I think, a more challenging thing because we don't have the density. We have people living downtown. I live downtown. My district is downtown, but our downtown is 2 blocks, and then it's completely surrounded by by residential homes. And so it's a little bit more challenging. But this, I think, is a very valuable presentation. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing the slides, and I'm going to even suggest that our planning department touch base with Ms. Lynn, and maybe we can help. They can help us and be part of the study group there with that. So thank you for that, and I'm looking forward to those slides.
Thank you for the comments, and I spoke too early. These slides, so you know, for everyone are already in the packet.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you.
And thanks to staff for being so actively forward thinking. But thanks for those comments. And next we have Wayman Furman, Honorable Wayman Furman. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the presentation. It's really good, and thank you, Councilman Gardner, for the kind words. In India, it's one of those things where every city is different, every city is unique, and that was mentioned. And in the same case for India, we had the opportunity to start from a kind of a empty board, but we did have some properties from the redevelopment days that the city owned, so we were able to get some tenants in there and really be flexible with the contracts that we did sign with them. A lot of what I've seen on the presentations India was doing, we had the opportunity to collaborate with College of the Desert to expand their footprint here in the city of Indio, along with the child development. And one of the things that we try to do here is give people a reason to come downtown. Indio has 100,000 people. It's a working community. Our downtown is about 2 square miles, but like you mentioned, a downtown could be anywhere, right? It's what you make some communities are just smaller, older communities. But we let people know with our signage when you're in downtown or you're a different part of the city. And throughout the city, we direct people there. We have signage around the city. One of the main things we did was we rebranded. We really took our tradition and we capitalized and we built on top of that. So we are known as a city of festivals. We have the Date Festival, we have Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival, we have Stagecoach. Those are all on the other side of town. But when we have those festivals, we try to incorporate that downtown. So we have Coachella Fest, which is 2 weekends. We work with the promoters to bring a free concert downtown. So we have a free concert downtown. So where are we going to put it? So we build an amphitheater, a stage. So we have a stage downtown. And we really worked with some of the local entrepreneurs, not only in and getting them a location, but also streamline them in the process so they could go from a pop-up to a food truck to brick and mortar. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're doing ribbon cuttings at least 3 times a week in Indio because we've helped a lot of those entrepreneurs do that. And one of the things I have to say as a policymaker, one of the things that I'm proud of is that, you know what, once we built that base, we need to get out of the way and let it happen organically. Let the community take over. Let's empower these young folks. The average age in Indio is 37 years old. So we have a lot of young families. So we got out of the way and helped them do this organically. So we have the restaurants, we have the open green space, we have the housing now, we have housing developments that are being built now. We have spa, so all those things that I seen on the presentation, I really loved. But one of the other things I want to add is the marketing and social media. We empowered some of the young folks to do that, right? I'm 45 years old. I'm very active on social media, but these kids and high school kids, they know how to work it and get people down there. So you have to put the interest out there. So that's one of the other things we did. We empowered the youth movement and young adults to really push our city. That's one thing. The other thing is when these young adults are working and they're at school, what are we going to do for the seniors? So we have the coffee shops, we're having activities, we have yoga at the park, we have this health fest, and we're collaborating with some of our local businesses that are right near the stage. So I really want to put this out there. If you have a chance, if you're in the Coachella Valley is really like a big city. We're not a metropolitan city out here, but the Coachella Valley is a real big city. I invite you to come to downtown Indio to see what we've done. The transportation, the roads, we really slowed down the roads so people could actually see what's going on, art in public places. And I want to finish with this. I'm sorry if I'm long-winded. Public safety. public safety is key. You want people to be safe. So we really focused on public safety. We hired private security. We partner with the College of the Desert's public safety department. We also have an ambassador program where we have an ambassador who actually goes around into the bars and the restaurants and talks to people, gets people to their vehicles, calls for assistance if they need a ride, if they can't drive. So we have the ambassador program. So we have these layers of security and assistance from the community. And we also have one cannabis retail location there who also has really enhanced security. So we have all these levels of security because downtown, you really want to keep it safe. And like I said, all cities are different, but be the best version of yourself, whatever city you're in, and accept your identity and welcome it. So thank you for the time, and I really appreciate those presentations.
Thank you very much. We'll turn to the Honorable Jeff Wood.
I think somebody was ahead of me online, but I just wanted to say that this was I really like having the cities mention some of the projects. I was thinking, okay, I got to go to Sugarland to look at this mall. Great place to visit. I think a band was named after the town. But now I can go to Fontana, I can go to Indio, and go to the Coachella Valley. So I think for follow-up, when we get these presentations by kind of the experts, and with Lancaster, it's great because we don't have to go very far to see some of the projects that are happening. So if there's a way to tie that in down the road with some of these, I think it's really good. I just wanted to acknowledge that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Good point. The Honorable Betty Martinez Franco.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So thank you so much for the presentations. They're very illuminating, mostly because the city of Irvine, we are over 300,000 in population, and we don't have a downtown. So we are in the midst of planning center for our residents. We can call it uptown, we can call it something. And as you know, we are a very already developed community, so we don't have to make too much space. But one of the philosophical questions that developers, or I ask developers always, well, in this community, we don't have enough retail. Why don't we put the retail first and then bring the all the residents in? It's like, well, we need first to populate the residents and then bring the retail to attract businesses. But then they don't have the space to develop businesses. So in your opinion, when you are developing a brand new downtown, what should be putting first, the retail, the activities, or bring the residents that are going to be living there? And we have a great opportunity here to do something really good because we have the transportation train that goes, the Metrolink that goes from here to LA. So putting the high concentration housing in that area and creating a really cool uptown will be ideal to attract younger professionals. But on that case, we need more entertainment, more retail. But what is your opinion on that? Thank you.
I'll give that a go first. I think it's, of course, that's always the question. It's kind of a chicken or egg problem, right, with the residents and retail and who comes first. And I will kind of give an answer that's do both if you can with mixed use development. First ground floor retail, above housing, office, whatever use might be appropriate there. And because I think ultimately that's really how you build great places, is to have that mixed use, and especially if you're already by a transit center, it sounds like. And one note that I've really been learning about recently is with new developments, you can zone for, you need to have ground floor retail, but to really be specific about the floor plates of the retail so that they're not too big. Because we've heard from several people that, you build these great new apartment buildings, but that ground floor retail is just too big for the way that retailers now really want those smaller spaces, since people are not shopping in person so much. So that might be one thing to consider in how you ensure that you can continue to have the vibrant and really fill that ground floor level. Because the worst thing is that you build all these spaces and then there is not anything happening on the first floor. But it's kind of you got to approach it from all angles, all at once.
Yeah, and I would say for the city of Lancaster, it's been kind of both happening at the same time. The city put the investment in to make the street a place that people wanted to be on and felt safe being on. So with the much wider sidewalks, fewer travel lanes, slower traffic, and that encouraged existing owners of buildings to come in and make changes, along with some of the other public investments that went in. But it literally has been going, a little bit of retail, a little bit of office space, a little bit of residential, and it starts all back over. It's not been a focus on one or the other.
Thank you very much. And our last question is from the Honorable Bob Engler. You're probably going to take what I was going to talk about for our area, but go ahead. Welcome.
Well, I may not be able to get your questions, Chair, but I did have and to thank the presenters. Those are nice presentations. Out in the Lancaster, the city put 10 million in general funds into this project. I'm wondering, have you been able to document some tax increases or revenues that has been can be contributed to this? Recognizing, of course, this is not strictly a revenue generating operation, is to have more of a cultural center and everything else. But have you been able to show to any of the public that this investment has also had revenue returns?
So from the documentation that I was able to find for the 2 years after, they did have an increase in revenues from the downtown area at a higher rate than other areas of the city. The same with property values also kind of increased more than the rest of the city's property values did. It was at a higher rate. When I talked to our economic development team about this presentation, unfortunately, they haven't been tracking a lot of that kind of information lately, and their focus has been on some other things. So I couldn't tell you currently what the increase in revenue has been. That being said, just the number of commercial uses that have come downtown that didn't exist before, I have to believe, we now have a hotel downtown. And it's one of the Marriott chains. It's 4 stories and probably about 100 rooms. So we're now getting TOT tax from that and sales tax from that. And then the people who are staying downtown are actually going to the restaurants because, if you're visiting Lancaster, staying there and you can walk to the movie theater and walk to go have dinner instead of driving again, you're more likely to spend it, in that area. But I don't have hard concrete numbers.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I would assume that you would have some economic spinoff from such a nice investment, as well as the cultural and activation that you've accomplished there. So very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next and now final question from Honorable Deborah Parada, please. Welcome. You need to unmute if you can, hopefully.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, very good. Okay, I think there's a magic ingredient, whether we're looking at downtowns or cities in general, that we never factor into the equations here, and that's education. I mean, right now, currently in the state of California, you can look at the California Department of Education, their data. 47% of our kids can either are at or above standards, and 36% of our kids are above math. So we have a huge job here because these people can't afford homes. They can't afford a lot of things only because they don't have the education to get the higher paying jobs. And we can't make our cities thrive, we can't make our downtowns thrive if we're not getting our education system to give us a product where we can, do all these good things. So I wish that when we do this kind of stuff, that we factor education into that and how do we help our school districts do better. So that's a big thing for me. So thank you.
I will say we do have some uses that have moved onto the boulevard that are more, we have the Boys and Girls Club who have moved on that do, after school tutoring and that kind of educational support, but we don't have any schools downtown.
All right, we want to thank our presenters very much, and that obviously brought about a lot of discussion. Thank you, and there'll be more to come. We'll move on to item number 7, which is we will receive an information item from SCAG staff which provides an update on Connect SoCal 2024 implementation strategies. In April 2024, Regional Council adopted Connect SoCal 2024, SCAG's Regional Transportation Plan, Sustainability Communities Strategy. Connect SoCal 2024 included implementation strategies which identify ways SCAG will lead, partner, or support other responsible parties. This item summarizes the progress to date of these implementation activities, highlighting specifically activities on data collection, analysis, and research, as well as local technical assistance resources that support the communities and economic pillars of Connect SoCal 2024. I now call on Camille Giriba, Senior Regional Planner in SCAG's Regional Planning Strategy Department, to begin this presentation. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Shapiro and committee members. Good morning. So this past June, we provided an update on some major milestones on the implementation strategies, included in our adopted RTP SCS Connect SoCal 2024. And today is another update sharing new milestones that SCAG has achieved. For context, direct implementation of Connect SoCal 2024 relies on the actions and decisions of other transportation agencies, local jurisdictions, and actors in the private sector to operate transit service, install new bike paths, approve new land uses, or build new housing. SCAG takes a leadership role in establishing the vision and goals and identifying policies, strategies, and funding to reach those goals. And in Connect SoCal 2024, we've included regional planning policies, which provide guidance for integrating land use and transportation planning to realize the vision of Connect SoCal. The implementation strategies articulate priorities for SCAG's efforts in fulfilling or going beyond the regional planning policies and identifying ways, as the chair mentioned, that SCAG will lead, partner, or support other responsible parties. And so I think these were also in the chair's notes, that these are the different ways that we support our partners in implementation. And this is the actually third progress report. There's a typo on this slide since the adoption last April 2024. The detailed report includes milestones for 56 implementation strategies in total. SCAG has progressed on 80 of the 93 strategies since plan adoption. In the implementation report, the implementation strategies are organized by the regional planning policy categories within our 4 Connect SoCal goal areas of mobility, communities, environment, and economy. I'll highlight a few accomplishments among the implementation strategies, considering this committee's interests. For the community section, SCAG has made progress on various strategies in the Housing the Region category. This includes executing over 40 MOUs under the PATH and Subregional Partnership Program 2.0 and the Sustainable Communities Program. We've also awarded, through the Lasting Affordability Program, over 13.8 million 41.2 million was awarded, and over 13.8 million has been dispersed so far to housing trust funds and catalyst programs that collectively provide new local revolving lending programs for affordable housing. And skipping ahead to the economy pillar, under the goods movement bucket for economy, SCAG staff has published the Southern California Goods Movement Communities Opportunities Assessment Toolkit that provides guidance on effective practices to strengthen workforce pathways and approaches to public health concerns, and resources to enhance communication and identify funding opportunities for community-based solutions. SCAG has also published several reports under the workforce development category, the addressing barriers to economic opportunities, apprenticeships, expanding economic opportunities in Southern California, both of which are part of the Inclusive Economic Recovery Strategy program. Another report is the Good Data, Stronger Tribes, Overcoming Native American Data Challenges in Southern California, which SCAG published in partnership with Brookings Metro. And all these resources are linked in the summary report within your agenda packet. That concludes my presentation, and I'm glad to take any questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak on this item?
Mr. Chair, I do not see any members wishing, or members of the public wishing to participate.
Okay, I will now entertain comments from members of the CEHD committee. Do we have any comments or questions in the room or online? Just the fact that you did such a great job. Oh. What? Do I see a card? Does anyone wish to speak? John, are you raising your card? No. Okay. For the last one? No? Okay. Anyone? No, you did a great job. Thank you. Such a good job. We have no questions for you, but thank you very much. Move on to the chair's report now. STBG, and this is primarily going on in the other room. We had a lot of reports, a lot of information, but we had the light lifting today compared to what Transportation Committee is doing. The STBG CMAQ call for project award recommendations announced at today's Transportation Committee meeting. Our colleagues are reviewing a recommendation from SCAG for disbursements of $1.25 billion in federal fiscal for the federal fiscal year 26-27 and 2027-28 surface transportation block grants and congestion mitigation and air quality funding. These project nominations were submitted by eligible project sponsors through their respective county transportation commissions and evaluated according to the criteria outlined in the STBG CMAQ program guidelines. If approved, these funding recommendations will be presented to the Regional Council in December for approval. Upon Regional Council approval, the project sponsors may proceed to program their projects into the Federal Transportation Improvement Program and begin the obligation process. For more information on this, please go to the SCAG's STBG/CMAQ website. 2025 also is the Southern California in December 2025 California Economic Update with our Joint Policy Committee meeting. The 2025 Southern California Economic Update will take place during the SCAG Joint Policy Committee meetings on Thursday, December 4th, 2025. The presentation will feature SCAG's annual economic report and analysis from SCAG's Economic Roundtable, and will be followed by an in-depth discussion about the state of our economy, moderated by former mayor of Los Angeles and direct from India, Mayor Eric Garcetti, who will be here. SCAG collaborates with independent economists representing the region's 6 counties and key specialties to assess Southern California's economic landscape and produce its regular comprehensive annual report and near-term outlook on the region's economy. It should be very interesting, especially given everything that's gone on. So I hope to see you all there.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I would like to share that SCAG has launched its Future Leaders Initiative, a new 6-month civic leadership pilot program for young Southern Californians interested in learning how regional and local governments collaborate for long-term change. Once a month, participants will attend interactive online sessions led by regional experts, thought leaders, and SCAG staff to explore planning, policy, collaboration, and advocacy. The final session will be held in person at our Los Angeles office. The program is free to participate in, and participants will receive a $500 stipend. The application process for this program is open now through November 25th, 2025. Individuals aged or between 18 and 26 who live in our 6-county region are invited to apply. Please share this amazing opportunity with your networks and anyone that might be interested. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yes, Honorable Margaret Finley.
If these young people are going to school in another area at a university, would they be able to do it? But they live here.
They would have to be residents of the region. So if they're going to school, and Victor, let me know. Yeah, they have to be residents of the region. So if they're going to school elsewhere, that's fine. They're from here and they're representing the region, so that would be fine. They can apply.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Very excited about that program. That's the first time we've done that here at SCAG, and
I wonder if there's any students in the room who might be interested in it.
I don't know. Is anyone over 18 in the room?
All of us.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a cap on age under 50.
Well, we all think that way.
Hey, if there are starving students in the room, there is a $500 stipend.
Yes,
and
yes.
can buy you a sandwich or two.
And more importantly,
No judging.
oh, we have a couple of questions. I'm sorry. Yes. I don't. Oh, Honorable Cecilia.
It's just too close, right? Will you be sending us information about that we can distribute?
We have a flyer. We'll send it out to all of you so you can push that out.
Okay, thank you.
And is there anyone else? Well, again, for those members of the Price School, I'm sure you're interested in getting involved in being future leaders. You already are. So please take a look at this as well. Are there any member announcements? Seeing President Allen, did you have? I saw the hand go up. We're honored you're here. I'll just make a couple announcements then. I will say it 3 times. Dodgers, Dodgers, Dodgers. Congrats to the Dodgers. World champs 2 times. It's really incredible. From a kid who used to grow up in Candlestick Park, which is in San Francisco Bay Area, having a little Dodger pennant set on fire. Never violence, just hate for the Dodgers. It's amazing to see this. And I do want to take a moment. This coming Tuesday, I believe, is 11/11/25 is Veterans Day. And I want to make sure I know we all do, and in our cities, in our city, you're all invited. A huge thank you to all who served, who have served, and those who've given the ultimate sacrifice to protect our freedoms. So I want to remember and thank everyone on that day. No other announcements. I'll tell you, our next meeting is scheduled for our next regular meeting is actually December 4th. It's a joint policy committee, and the Economic Summit has mentioned, but our next independent meeting of the CEHD Committee is Thursday, February 5th, 2026 already. So thank you for your participation. Appreciate it. Meeting is now adjourned.
All right.